Hi, Christine again. I just thought I would do a hopefully quick video while my car is warming up here, which I forgot to turn the blower on. Pardonnez-moi. Anyway, I just thought I'd kind of do a little thing about just kind of random, really. I was watching Thor: The Dark World again last night. Love that movie. Anyway, it just kind of got me into random thoughts. It's sometimes, and I've seen, especially when we've dealt with whoopee witches and young pagans and people just learning about it and stuff, how they tend to, look at like movies and especially like Marvel and stuff like that, and they, instead of researching history on some of these deities, they're going after a modern day interpretation, including thinking, that what Stan Lee has set out as a basis for the Marvel universe. They think that is actually fact, and I have run into this. But what kind of got me thinking, though, is kind of the old premise in Dungeons and Dragons that the gods had to kind of earn their position. And the more followers that they had, the more power that they had. And the perception of those gods could change over time, and we have seen this before. There is a book out there that I suggest anybody go read. It's called Hathor Rising, and it's about how Hathor, the sun goddess in Egypt, had changed from the very beginning of the gods in Egypt until the end of the very last dynasty. And she had changed quite a bit. For the longest time, she was the sun disk in Ra's helm. But she had started out as the desert lion. So I'm wondering, as we look at our modern day age, and we've got all these fancy flicks out, and we don't have... we have 200-year-old legends in the United States, Paul Revere, and, there are historical documents as to what happened. And I'm sure there's other figures in history that we have legends about, that there's historical documents out there somewhere. Or maybe they had started out as somebody knew this person and a legend grew around them. For instance, Sir Robin of Locksley, King Arthur, Jesus, Moses, King David. At some point they end up becoming kind of a mythical figure. How long does it take before they become a god? And of course then the Egyptians believed that the pharaohs became gods. But what I wonder is, they're taking these old legends of like Thor and Odin and Freya and all of these people in the, in the Norse pantheon that had been incorporated into the Marvel universe. And they've seemed to have taken on a new light, a new life at that. Can we, older pagans, really look at this new version, or kids who think that this is the way these gods are, can we really frown on that? Because, well, yeah, we need to point them out to the history of these deities, but if this is how they're relating to that deity, is that really a bad thing? I always grew up with the owl from Athena in Clash of the Titans, the original one with all the stop animation and everything. And even though I had learned the history around the actual figures, that image still is extremely powerful in my mind. That movie is still powerful. And maybe this is the way some of the deities are taking on a new light. Now, in the case of Jesus, there are fundy Christians out there who are complaining that, like the Bible series and stuff like that, that they've created a new age type of Jesus, and that it's satanic and Luciferian and all of this stuff. But maybe it's just that the evolution of that mythical figure is changing. And is this really a bad thing? Religions have changed and adapted throughout the ages. Why should it be any different now? And why do we have to look at, well, this has to be exactly like this, and this has to be exactly like that? Yes, we all need to learn our history, and we need to take a look at histories, but you think about it now, we have new future mythical figures that are already forming. Ronald Reagan being one of them. I think Stan Lee's going to become another one. Pope John Paul II, he's going to turn into a mythical figure. Mother Teresa's already turning into a mythical figure in some respects. We're creating brand new legends that in 1,000 years' time, what are they going to be like? They're going to be, probably some of them are going to be at least demigods. I think that's where Ronald Reagan is heading, actually, according to the conservatives. So I think we're in a pretty interesting time. We're seeing how religions are changing with the growing pains. Some are a lot more severe than others. I mean, definitely the problems with ISIS and inside of Islam are the absolute worst right now. But even Buddhists are going through growing pains over in Tibet. Christians in this country are fighting us tooth and nail over the laws because they can't handle their growing pains right now, the conservative Christians. So we're kind of in a really interesting, fascinating area, or I should say era. Sorry, I've been at work 14 hours. We're in a fascinating place in history. And maybe we shouldn't be too judgmental about the new people who are coming into our various faiths. Don't let them change history. I mean, rewrite it, I should say, like conservatives are trying to do about American history, where slavery has been renamed something else, and they're trying to deny any of the founding fathers that were deist and were against Christianity, like Jefferson. I mean, Oklahoma right now, I think, is adjusting education. Texas has been doing it. I mean, these things we have to fight, because there has to be, we can't disable history, we can't dumb ourselves down. But spiritually, if we're incorporating science into our thoughts and learning about it, and then looking at our old legends and rethinking our old legends, and these new generations coming up, I think it's fascinating. So sit back a little bit and observe it. Enjoy it. Help along where you can, even, Still teach. But don't take it all so serious. And, enjoy the products of some of the fruits that come about, especially muscled men in Norse warrior garb. Anyway, blessed be everybody.